doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. Okay, so today we're talking about a black box game. Not just any black box game. Today, we're talking about a sports game that happened to be a black box game. And you know how the first summer of 8-Bit I talked about the most important football game released on the NES? And then the next summer of 8-Bit I talked about the best football game released on the NES. Today I talk about the first football game released on the NES. It's an arcade port, actually. A lot of people don't know that. Originally from 1983. But it was a launch title here, so here it was 1985. But today's game is 10-Yard Fight. Okay, so in 10-Yard Fight, you got your standard football game. But not really, because the arcade version of 10-Yard Fight scored like a typical video game. You never played defense, and basically you had to get as many first downs and touchdowns as possible within like this really, really short time span. The home version changed that to traditional football scoring, but in a way, the rule, like, I don't know if Irem just had a hard time grasping the rules of American football when they were making this game, but there's some things in the game that just aren't right. For instance, on defense, when you get an interception, the play stops in this game. Another thing, the scrolling on the field just feels incredibly slow, but for whatever reason, it's manageable. I don't know why. I guess it's because of the slow pace of the actual game clock. And while the pass coverage in this game is actually, I don't know, it's weird. This game plays better defense than some Madden games now. And that's saying a lot because the defense on this game is kind of eh. But anyway, you have different skill levels, ranging from high school to Super Bowl. Didn't want to say that because I don't want to get sued, but you know, it's in the game. That's the difficulty setting in the game. And you don't get to pick teams. There are no teams or rosters or anything like that. It's one team against the other team. So there's that. The place kicking after a touchdown is kind of difficult. It never feels comfortable. But everything else feels okay in this game. It doesn't feel bad, and it doesn't suck considering that it's such an early title in the NES library. Like I said, it's the first football game on the NES. Passing, like offensive plays, there's no real playbook in the game. So basically, a man goes into motion. You snap the ball when you're ready to send that player up the field, and from there you have two running backs on either side of the quarterback. You can throw the ball to them; they can go upfield, or you can throw the ball to them and they can pass it down to the receiver, or you can pass it to the receiver directly. So in that sense, it's pretty cool. On defense, you have a player and a B player. You press whichever button you want to play with before the play starts, and that's the player you control for the duration of that play. Like I said, the ball changes hands during the play via interception, because that's the only way a ball gets turned over during play. There are no fumbles. Play stops. For what it's worth, 10-Yard Fight is a really basic football game, but it has its charm, and it really stands out with it being the first football title released on the NES. Finding a copy, I mean, some black box games are really difficult to find. This one isn't. It's just that some folks will charge you way more than they should for it because it's a black box game. So be wary of resellers. But if you're a collector and you're a real collector, I definitely recommend adding 10-Yard Fight to your library as it being one of the pioneering games on the NES. This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow.